We had the vehicle sales numbers out, 9%, but everyone's rushing to warn that we mustn't read too much into this, certainly not too much positive.
Yes, indeed, David. That number did come in almost half of what we saw in the previous month, from 18.3%. And while it does seem fairly positive on the outskirts, delving into the detail of the number, I think it was probably propped up by rental car demand. And if you strip out that component from the total number, it seems as if the headline number was probably a lot weaker than that 9.4%. So it's not really all that good news. And if you look at what is expected with regards to household consumption expenditure going forward, it was one of the signposts that really indicates that the weakness from the consumer is starting to really filter through to the rest of the economy, and we could possibly see household consumption expenditure a lot lower than what we saw last year. Recall that last year we saw household consumption expenditure at about 5%. This year we are expecting 3.3% for household consumption expenditure. So the data from the vehicle sector wasn't really very good news, and it is really corroborating our view that we could possibly see a sub 3% GDP growth number for 2012.
Okay, and then we've got business confidence coming out. What's the context for that? Just remind us where business confidence has been and what you're expecting this time.
Well, business confidence in the first and second quarter declined quite a bit. We are expecting a further downward movement in business confidence in the third quarter, and that's really on the back of looking at the components of that business confidence number. The building contractors, manufacturing, wholesalers and retailers have been very sluggish over the past 2 quarters, and we could possibly see that filter through in the third quarter as well. There has been some upward momentum from the motor trade, new vehicles component, which could possibly keep the business confidence still fairly at the levels that we have been seeing, but the other 4 components are expected to drag that down, and we could see that business confidence remain pressured in the third and fourth quarters, and that's more or less in line with what has happened with consumer confidence. There generally seems to be a lack of confidence all around in the economy.
Okay, and the rand at 842, it's been in that band, sort of 838 to 839, 842 for a while now. It's moved up and down, but then the ECB, and that might have an effect tomorrow, although it's getting to the point where these meetings happen and nothing happens. So what can the ECB do tomorrow, and what will they do you think?
Well, there has been lots of speculation that Draghi will announce some kind of bond buying programs with maturities of at least up to 3 years. Having said that, it doesn't seem, though, from the markets at this point that there's going to be some concrete solutions coming through. It may have some euphoria, positive euphoria coming through post the meeting, but after that we could possibly see that negative sentiment come through again, and that could pressure the euro lower, and that's obviously going to have a negative impact on our local currency. We do, however, believe that the risk on environment is, well, there's not likely to be any risk off environment coming through before the meeting, so we do expect the rand to trade within a similar range as it has been over the past few days of about 837 to 845.